was here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway where the 1998 edition of the NASCAR Winston Cup Series came to a close. Composed of 33 races, this marathon of speed and daring had it all. Stunning surprises, devastating losses, and thrilling finishes. I'm Bill Weber. Join me under the lights as we celebrate this historic season to remember, NASCAR's 50th anniversary.
Nothing's working. Remarkable. We won it, we won it, we won it. Jeff Burton winning.
I just don't know when it's all going to stop. I've been proud of this one tonight.
It's an unbelievable race.
Our story begins at the starting line of all Winston Cup journeys, Daytona. For some, this fabled race represents the fulfillment of a dream. For one, a lifetime of frustration. As the green flag fell on the 40th Daytona 500, a year-long celebration of NASCAR's 50th season was underway. Although Bobby Labonte led the charge from the pole, the crowd was clearly pulling for the sentimental favorite, Dale Earnhardt. Emerging as the day's dominant force, the three-car grabbed the lead on lap 140, but 19 times before, victory had slipped away. A wreck on the backstretch on lap 174 presented the day's second caution. Earnhardt and crew chief Larry McReynolds opted for a two-tire stop, escorting the leaders down pit road, Dale Earnhardt. With Skinner in tow, the Richard Childress tandem fought off the advances of Mayfield and Wallace. On lap 179, Skinner slipped out of the draft, allowing the Penske Fords to move in behind Earnhardt. The Intimidator was 8 laps away from victory. With 1 to go, a three-car tangle brought out the day's third and final caution. Using the lapped car of Rick Mast for protection, Earnhardt beat Labonte and Mayfield back to the starting line as the yellow and white flew simultaneously. As the crowd erupted, Dale Earnhardt cruised the final emotion-charged lap, a Daytona 500 winner. In a history-making moment, rivals became allies as every team lined pit road to congratulate the victor.
I tell you, the ovation I got on pit road with all the other teams, that's impressive. That's 20 years of hard work and a lot of friends along the way. It really helped me. I can't thank everybody enough. That's what we've been working hard to get. The 20 years we've come down here. My car's going in Daytona, USA. I don't care. I love it. I want it to be there. I took me a little spin in the grass so I'd get the good out of it. Just all them race fans and all them people have been saying, Dale, this is your year. Dale, this is your year. And boy, a lot of them said it this year. It feels so great to be in Victory Lane. Richard Childress and all the guys, they're crying and they're carrying on. They're having a great time. This is where it's at. Been here a lot. This is the greatest time I've ever had in Victory Lane right here. This is it.
Now, the season's second race unfolded like a Ford right at the rock. Mark Martin and Rusty Wallace dominated the first 198 laps, with Chevrolet hopeful Jeff Gordon struggling and drifting back in the pack. On lap 66, the Rainbow Warriors had their Chevrolet on the mend. By lap 175, the 24 car was dialed in, passing Dale Jarrett for the 10th spot. A hungry Gordon then feasted on the front runners, reaching first place on lap 327. A multi-car crash brought out the 6th yellow flag of the day on lap 365. Gordon muscled in front after the caution and cruised to the checkers.
You know, just unbelievable. I don't know how better to say to refuse to lose than what these guys did today. It was awesome, awesome day, and I am so proud to be part of this team. You can't believe it.
Yeah!
The victory marked the first race in which NASCAR's new 5-and-5 rule was in effect. Higher front air dams, shorter rear spoilers, a move designed to slow the Winston Cup cars by removing some of the aerodynamic downforce. Desert Storm invaded Gambler's Paradise as the inaugural running of the Las Vegas 400 introduced NASCAR to Nevada.
They're set for racing at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and the green flag waves.
Always ready for a big floor show, a sellout crowd of 107,000 witnessed a great one. Jeff Burton took control early on the new 1.5-mile track, but suffered a pit road penalty on lap 89 and dropped to the back of the pack. After fighting through severe vibration problems, Burton's teammate, Mark Martin, picked up the Roush momentum, taking the lead on lap 172.
Trying to go on the outside, vibration or not, put Mark Martin in front.
The 6th car pitted 3 laps later and returned in 3rd place on lap 178 behind the Miller Lite Ford and the 88. Martin's assault finally prevailed as Dale Jarrett relinquished the number 2 spot on lap 200. Martin set his sights on Rusty Wallace.
And they go down in the corner, and Martin will take the lead, so he's fought his way back from 2 seconds down to take the lead from Rusty Wallace.
Here he is. The crowd is on its feet cheering for the winner of the inaugural Las Vegas 400, Mark Martin.
Sharing in the victory was the new Ford Taurus, sweeping 9 of the top 10 positions.
These guys are awesome, and we made a change over the winter, and I was afraid people were going to say that I did the wrong thing. We did the right thing, man. We ran awesome last week, and it was even better this week.
After it rained on Sunday here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Prime Star 500 roared into action on Monday. Now from the green flag to the checkered flag, this one proved to be a Pontiac day. John Andretti and Todd Bodine, both driving Pontiacs, started from the front row. Like stock car checkers, 5 drivers swapped the lead 5 times over the last 100 laps. Holding the winning strategy was the Interstate Batteries Pontiac.
Here's Bobby Labonte taking the white and the caution. He's going to win his 6th NASCAR Winston Cup event and his 3rd at Atlanta. And the Prime Star 500 will end under caution.
Things just came together for us when they needed to. We struggled a little early. The car wasn't quite right. It was a little pushy, and then it was a little loose, and so we just kept dialing around with it, and good Lord blessed us that there at the end we got the combination right, and we were able to do what we had to do.
Parity prevailed in the early portion of the season. The Trans-South 400 would deliver the 5th different winning driver in as many weeks. Jeff Burton drove the dominant car for the majority of the race, but a different Ford would tame the track at Darlington. With Mayfield leading Burton on lap 250, Randy LaJoie spun in turn 4, prompting the 5th and final caution of the day. Burton and Jarrett, the benefactors of quick pit stops, emerged in 1st and 2nd respectively when the race restarted with 39 laps to go. With Gordon lurking behind them, the 88 and the 99 engaged in a tenacious battle. With 19 laps remaining, Burton's Ford faltered as Jarrett took advantage.
A great car battle for the lead.
On the last lap, Jarrett was able to hold off Jeff Gordon in a thrilling sprint to the finish.
Touch there briefly, but Dale Jarrett is going to win the Trans-South 400 by just a minute or so
wore my tires pretty good trying to get by Jeff Burton, and I thought if I could distance myself with Jeff in between Jeff Gordon and I, that'd be okay. But Gordon got by, and I used up a lot of cars trying to get by the 99, and it was good fun racing. But you know, Gordon got under me coming out of 4 here, and we got together a little bit. I pretty much ran him out of racing room or out of racetrack, and you know, he just raced hard, and congratulate those guys for a good run too.
Next up for NASCAR's 50th season was 36 degrees of banking and short track excitement.
And the green flag waves. The Food City 500 is underway.
Rusty Wallace sat on the pole, hoping to become the 6th different driver in '98 to roll into victory lane. In a race that saw 19 lead changes among 10 drivers, pit stops would play a pivotal role. And when pit stops are a factor, the 24 car usually gains an advantage. On lap 437, Wallace cut a tire on track debris. His Ford slammed the wall, prompting the 12th caution flag of the day. With Labonte in front, the lead lap cars pitted. The Rainbow Warriors put their driver in the lead. 2 more cautions in the final 50 laps allowed the field to close on Gordon. The talented driver with a knack for short tracks held off his Hendrick Motorsports teammate in the closing lap.
I love this place, and this place has been real good to me. And tell you, when you get a car that can run up front, you know, it makes it a whole lot easier. And we qualified up front, so we got to pit up front, and all we need was one good pit stop there at the end, and we got it.
Despite a 33rd place finish, Rusty Wallace maintained a 1-point lead over teammate Jeremy Mayfield. Gordon jumped to 3rd, knocking Dale Earnhardt out of the top 5. In April, the sprawling Texas Motor Speedway once again played host to the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. And for the 2nd year in a row, the Texas 500 would yield twisted metal and battered drivers. Surviving a wild afternoon, leader Chad Little and Mark Martin pitted for a final time on the day's last caution. Martin took 2 tires, while Little took 4. Tires would spell the difference as the Valvoline Cummins Ford took the first spot on the restart. Martin held off Little for 30 laps, making it a 1-2 finish for team owner Jack Roush.
I was being cautious most of the race, but it was time to go there at the end, and we let it all out, and it really worked out for us. But pit stop made all the difference. We had a quick stop, got us out front, and all I had to do was hold the hammer down.
Now, Mark Martin's 2nd win of the season propelled him from 7th to 4th in the championship hunt, while teammate Chad Little surprised the field with a career-best finish. In his last 4 races at Martinsville Speedway, Bobby Hamilton had not finished worse than 3rd place. Today, the Kodak Chevrolet sat on the pole, its driver determined to finally claim victory. Behind the wheel of the day's best car, Hamilton devoured the half-mile track for most of the race. But hampered by slow pit stops, the 4 cars struggled to stay on top.
Take some wedge out of it.
No, Hamilton. Problems on Hamilton.
But the dominant car would not be denied, as Hamilton finally took the lead for good on lap 438, passing John Andretti.
Here's Bobby Hamilton taking the checkered flag and winning the Goodies Headache Powder 500 at Martinsville, collecting his 3rd career victory.
You don't think NASCAR didn't make the right decision on the 5-5 rule? These things had air pushes at Martinsville. All the guys that shot you guys, they built a brand new car a week and a half ago. This thing was a hull. It was a wreck from here 2 years ago. They just stubbed in the corner. I told them I wanted that kind of chassis. They put it together. It just made for a good day. Kodak, it's great, man.
The NASCAR Winston Cup Series moved from the shortest track on the circuit to the longest, the Talladega Superspeedway. With drivers running nose to tail at breathtaking speeds, the Die-Hard 500 was a perilous journey. With With only 48 laps to go, 20 cars were swept up in a violent Talladega tornado.
Green, 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 green.
When the dust settled, it was Terry Labonte leading the parade. With only 8 laps remaining, Gordon slipped out of the draft, leaving the top 4 to slug it out. As they flew into turn 2 on lap 187, the Joe Gibbs Racing Pontiac slipped to the outside of his brother. Spencer lined up with Bobby Labonte, and Jarrett hung on to Spencer. Forced out of the draft, Terry Labonte was shuffled to the rear.
Here comes Bobby Labonte. Spencer tries desperately, but he can't do it. And Bobby Labonte has won the Die-Hard 500.
In his first ever victory at Talladega, the youngest Labonte became the first Pontiac driver to master the 2.66-mile track since 1983, when Richard Petty won the Winston 500.
And I won over a 1.5-mile racetrack. Man, I feel like I've been restricted. So, but I tell you what, this Interstate Pontiac was awesome all week long, and got lucky. And anytime you can finish a restrictor plate race, you got to feel lucky, no matter where you finish.
After a heartbreaking loss to Jeff Gordon in last year's inaugural California 500, Mark Martin found himself behind the 24 car once again, this time on the starting grid. From third starting position, the number 6 car roared out of the gate, moving into the lead on lap 35. The 88 car blew an engine on lap 86, wreaking havoc behind him. Wow. Then another pileup on lap 227 collected 5 cars from the lead lap. Through it all, Mark Martin escaped unscathed.
The inside of Mark Martin, 16 cars on the lead lap as we go back to racing. It's a 16-lap shootout, and Rusty Wallace comes on to challenge Mark Martin.
The victim of a dropped cylinder, Wallace relented, giving Jeremy Mayfield the second spot.
He started in third position this afternoon, comes home first, and wins the second California 500.
The 6 teams celebrated their 3rd trip of the year to Victory Lane. With his fortunate second-place finish, surprising Jeremy Mayfield bolted into the number 1 position in the NASCAR Winston Cup point standings. In mid-May, drivers and fans gathered under the lights at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for NASCAR's annual All-Star event. It's a night of big crowds and big money.
It's for the show, man. You know, anything for the show. That's what we're all here for, is the show.
In a metallic chameleon, Jeff Gordon absolutely dominated the 3-segment race. Storming to the white flag en route to his 2nd straight win at the Winston, Gordon's trusty steed stumbled. With fuel pressure plummeting and engine sputtering, Gordon succumbed to a shocked but elated Mark Martin.
Struck. Mark Martin wins his first career Winston. Unbelievable. Remarkable.
Big surprise. The best wins are the ones you don't expect, and obviously coming off of turn 4, I was racing for 2nd, not for 1st. We're getting back a bunch of them that slipped away from us a few years ago, and it's all coming back.
Came out first. Guys did a great job in the pits. Everybody did a great job. We just ran out of gas.
As part of the celebration of NASCAR's 50th anniversary, R.J. Reynolds made some sweeping changes to its Winston $1 Million bonus program, increasing the purse, the pressure, and the opportunity for a driver to take home an extra $1 million. The Brickyard 400 joined the Coca-Cola 600, the Daytona 500, the Southern 500, and the Winston 500 as the designated races in the No Bull 5 $1 million bonus program. All a driver had to do was finish in the top 5 of a designated race to be eligible for $1 million at the next designated race. All he had to do to collect was win, and that's no bull. It was payday at the Coca-Cola 600. 400 laps for $2.6 million. For 5 of the 43 drivers on the starting grid, an extra cool million dangled in front of them. After 377 laps, just 23 separated Rusty Wallace from $1 million payday. On the 8th and final caution period, the number 2 car took on right side tires only, as did Labonte, Jarrett, and Martin. The 24 car, however, took 4. When the race restarted, Gordon's fresh tires gobbled up the track. On lap 386, the DuPont Chevrolet sped by both Jarrett and Martin to move into 3rd place. And 2 laps later, Gordon took the high route around Labonte to grab 2nd. With one final confrontation, Gordon would become the spoiler. On lap 391, Wallace tried and failed to keep Gordon from creeping by on the inside. It proved to be an expensive mistake. In his startling 2nd straight and 3rd career victory in the 600-mile event, Gordon jumped to the top spot in the NASCAR Winston Cup point standings.
Taking 4 was the way to go. Ray made a great call, and I know it makes him really proud to have things all come together. I knew we weren't going to run out of gas, so, you know, this is the way to put all those things to rest, and what a great day, great night, great victory for everybody.
Now, the next stop for the Winston Cup drivers was the physically demanding concrete roller coaster at Dover, Delaware.
I like the challenge here. We've run well here, especially the last 2 years. Had good cars, pretty much opportunities in all of the races to run up front and have a chance at winning. So it's a place that I like, and concrete's definitely made it a different place. And I think that we keep searching for that magic setup, but we've been close, just not right on it.
Jarrett, who has lost his share of races to fuel problems, finally turned the tables on Jeff Gordon to claim his 2nd win of the season and first ever at the lightning-fast Monster Mile. As the largest crowd ever to witness a sporting event in the state of Virginia roared their approval, 43 drivers prepared for battle. This night, there would be plenty to cheer and jeer about. For the majority of the race, a handful of drivers swapped the lead in a somewhat routine contest. Then, on lap 372, attempting to pass Rusty Wallace, coming out of turn 2, the 24 car and the 2 car got together.
Oh, the contact, and Jeff spins.
Got a spin on turn 2. Get out low, get out low. You got it. Go, 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 go. Don't let the 23 on the bottom.
When the track went green with 18 to go, Ricky Rudd took his shot at the lead.
And Rudd has got to move, and Rudd is going to spin. Right in front of him. Come down to the inside. Keeper going up so far, and they're crashing. The Benson is crashed. And the caution flag once again is out.
Another crash with 7 to go summoned a red flag, freezing the field for a final engagement between Labonte, Jarrett, and Wallace.
Fans to see a caution finish.
Listen to the crowd.
In a breathtaking finish, Johnny Benson slammed the wall as Terry Labonte flew low on the apron, returned, and bounced off Jarrett for the lead.
But down the back stretch they race as Dale Jarrett now finds himself 2nd to Terry Labonte, and the white flag is coming out. We've got one more lap to go.
And caution.
And caution, so Terry Labonte wins.
103,000 fans roared as Terry Labonte won his first race of the 1998 season.
I got into the 88 down there. I know he's mad at me. I hate it. I was committed. I was trying to race him back. I thought there was going to be a caution flag. He came down, and I was there, and we hit. And I hate it. Got to say hi to Rick Hendrick and thank John Hendrick for everything that these guys have done for us.
NASCAR's celebration invaded the 2-mile Michigan Speedway for the Miller Lite 400. Starting in 4th position, Jeff Gordon blazed out of the gate in typical fashion to dominate the first half of the race. With the 24 car holding an impressive lead over Martin on lap 119, debris on the track brought out the first yellow flag of the day. The source of the debris raised the ire of 24 crew chief Ray Evernham as the field closed in on his driver. Now, with Jeff Gordon clinging to the lead on lap 140, Mark Martin engaged the 24 car in the best side-by-side battle of the day. After 9 grueling laps, the DuPont Chevrolet finally relinquished the lead to Martin, who took the checkered flag for his 4th win of the year. Pocono 500, Jeremy Mayfield had yet to win a Winston Cup race, despite holding the points lead. That fact was about to change in the Pennsylvania mountains. Surviving a 1-hour rain delay and pit road penalty, Mayfield finished the marathon 5-hour, 25-minute race in storybook fashion. On lap 179, the driver of the Mobil 1 Ford Taurus passed boyhood idol Darrell Waltrip for the lead.
Doing all day. Good job. Remember, you show him. You're the boss here, man. You're the boss.
Holding off a fierce surge from none other than Jeff Gordon, Mayfield took the checkered flag, marking his first NASCAR Winston Cup win. Raceway. Today, the California native sat on the pole in front of a home state crowd. Though Gordon dominated the early goings of the 112-lap race, a sluggish pit stop dropped the DuPont Refinishes Chevrolet back in the field. On lap 63, Jeff Burton ran headfirst into trouble at the start-finish line. The restart found Gordon in 17th position. With 28 to go, Bobby Hamilton surprised Ricky Rudd in the hairpin turn.
And we see a battle for the lead as Hamilton goes on the inside of Rudd and takes the lead.
Then again in the hairpin, second and third knocked themselves out of contention.
Oh, was this a contact?
Now in fourth place, Jeff Gordon began picking off the leaders.
Here he goes. Jeff Gordon trying to take second from John Andretti. He'll get the job done.
And there's the leader, not that far in front of Jeff Gordon.
With 12 to go, Gordon engaged Hamilton, edging by in the turn.
Heavy braking, they make contact. We see the cars get together. We see the smoke. Jeff Gordon goes by, takes the lead.
Gordon crossed the finish line to win his first ever event at Sears Point.
Oh, man, I got to catch my breath. This is a big win for us. We won the Watkins Glen. They got my confidence up to be able to win on the road course, and this is a brand new car. We came and tested it. You know, there was times when we were really good today and we were out front, and then there was times when I didn't know what was going to happen. We, had some funky things happen today with cautions and pit stops, and I just got to thank the Lord. I tell you, blessing me and this entire team so much with so many great things that I just don't know when it's all going to stop. But I want to thank them every chance I get. And I want to thank DuPont Automotive Finishes and the Chevrolet and Quaker State and Pepsi. And, man, what an incredible day, incredible team. These guys are awesome, these Rainbow Warriors.
Gordon's win propelled him past Jeremy Mayfield and into the points lead. Mix in Martin and Jarrett, and you've got a recipe for a four-man race. NASCAR's traditional July 4th holiday celebration, the Pepsi 400, had to be moved to October as dangerous wildfires swept through Florida. So for 43 drivers, it was on to the Jiffy Lube 300. At New Hampshire, a track record 90,000 fans witnessed the return of New England native Ricky Craven to the seat of the Budweiser Chevy.
Gosh, it's an emotional moment because 3.5 months ago, I didn't know when I was going to race again, if I was going to race again. Obviously, thank the Lord for mending me back into racing condition.
Green flag, green
In his
flag,
first race back, Craven sat on the pole. Teammate Jeff Gordon bumped Craven out of the lead on lap 15. In the exchange, Jarrett and Burton slid by as well. The 99 car took the lead for the first time on lap 79, going under the 24 car in turn 2. The lead shuffled between Burton, Gordon, and Mike Skinner for the next 100 laps. But by lap 265, it was clear no one would catch the 99 car. In the closing laps, Mark Martin passed Gordon for second, while Jeremy Mayfield tagged the wall, costing him a certain top 10 finish. Burton cruised to his first win of '98, and in doing so, defended his 1997 Jiffy Lube 300 victory.
It's an awesome race car.
You know, that right there is what we all live for, having an awesome race car that runs that well, and I'm just proud of everybody on this race team with the effort they put in. We were good. We've been good for the last 3 months. We just hadn't capitalized on some of them, so today is feels like the weight of the world off the shoulders.
As Jeremy Mayfield tumbled out of contention, a familiar trio emerged. NASCAR's big guns, Gordon, Martin, and Jarrett, were once again pitted against each other in the title hunt. Unknown to all of them was the historic chain of events about to unfold. Running flawlessly down the straightaways, but struggling in traffic, the 24 car entered pit road during the third caution period. With a warrior-like effort from his crew, Gordon took the lead. Holding off Mark Martin, Gordon grabbed his 5th win of the season. After Bill Elliott won the inaugural Winston Million in 1985, 12 seasons would pass before another would claim the prize. At the storied Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Jeff Gordon was trying to win his 2nd Brickyard 400. This race began with a familiar charge.
And I say to you now, start your engines.
Early on, it appeared that Dale Jarrett had the right stuff. But on lap 80, his Ford sputtered, ran out of gas, and coasted nearly 2.5 miles back to pit road. Fighting back from 4th place, the 24 car passed Mike Skinner with 37 to go. Then Earnhardt on lap 127.
Oh, he's looking this time. He's there.
He's got him.
Gordon goes in the lead.
He's got him.
The 7th caution of the race allowed Martin to close on Gordon as the race restarted with 7 to go. With Labonte running 3rd, it was a 3-man sprint to the No Bull 5 bonus. The 24 car survived one final caution and cruised to victory behind the pace car.
Jeff Gordon will be the winner of the 1998 Brickyard 400.
Heck of a job for the crew. Hey, Rick, brother, this one's for you. We worked hard for this one all year, buddy. This one's for you.
As the first repeat winner at the Brickyard, Jeff Gordon cashed in on the largest purse ever in NASCAR history. 43 drivers lined up to compete in the last road course race of the season at Watkins, Glen. For the first 57 laps, it was slippery Jeff Gordon who maintained a hold on the lead. The 24 team would finally slip up on lap 58 as a green flag pit stop left Gordon in 15th place, directly behind Martin and Wallace. Methodically, the trio dispensed with their adversaries until reaching 2nd place Kyle Petty.
2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th right here. Look at him. My goodness.
And Jeff is going to try to make it 3 wide. No, can't work. It did. It did work.
What a bold move going into that corner, man.
2 laps later, Gordon picked off Rusty Wallace. Only then did Ray Evernham inform his driver there was still one man to beat. With just 4 laps remaining, Gordon ambushed the 31 car, surging past on the backstretch. In the end, Mark Martin would have to settle for 2nd, as the DuPont Refinishes Chevrolet blazed to its 3rd straight victory, sweeping the 1998 road course races.
That's my crew chief for it. He never told me one time that I was in 2nd. I thought I was leading the whole time. And then, you know, when I started closing in on Skinner, he told me, he said, you know, you're in 2nd, that's the leader ahead of you. And I just try to keep it smooth and straight, not make any mistakes, and what a win, man, what a win. You know, I always wanted to race Mark and Rusty on a road course for a win, and, you know, this one feels really good.
The weekend prior to the Pepsi 400, Mark Martin had tragically lost his father, stepmother, and half-sister in a private plane crash. In a valiant gesture, he would drive in their memory. But for Jeff Gordon, this was a date with destiny. Gunning for a record-tying 4th straight win, the Rainbow Warriors started in 2nd position. Mark Martin and Ernie Irvin dominated the 2-mile Michigan Speedway for most of the day. Not until the final caution on lap 179 did Gordon's familiar form emerge. The Rainbow Warriors made a swift 2-tire change, giving their driver new life.
Here comes Jeff Gordon out, no doubt, with 2 tires.
By lap 191, the 6 and the 24 were entrenched in a nose-to-tail battle.
It's an unbelievable race. Look at this.
Gordon slipped by at the start-finish line to make history.
That special company that Jeff Gordon enters, these are the drivers who have won 4 straight in NASCAR Winston Cup history.
I'm just shocked. I cannot believe this. You know, Mark Martin deserved this race more than anybody here this weekend, and he is the man. I tell you what, our prayers are out to him, and I know how bad he won this, and I really thought he'd be standing here instead of me.
We'll go home and try to regroup and see if we can't give them a whooping at Bristol.
Just like a broken record, the Jeff Gordon victory album played on. Gordon bolstered his lead over Mark Martin as Mayfield continued to slide, dropping out of the top 5. Never before in the modern era of NASCAR had any driver accomplished it. In the long history of the sport, only legends Richard Petty and Bobby Allison laid claim to it. 140,000 gathered at the Bristol night race to see if Jeff Gordon would rewrite the record books and win his 5th consecutive race. Though all eyes were on the 24 car, Mark Martin started in 4th position, determined to end a disappointing string of frustrating near misses. On lap 320, the 6 car passed Labonte to take the lead. 25 laps later, Martin avoided disaster as rookie Jerry Nadeau spun in front of him. The Valvoline Ford cut through the smoke unharmed. In the end, Gordon proved human as Martin led the final 181 laps.
I want to thank the race fans. Their sympathy and support, love, and love for the sport and love for our family has meant everything. I cried last week because I didn't get to dedicate a win to my dad and Shelley and Sarah. This one's for them, and he'd have been proud of this one tonight.
Mark Martin's short track victory opened the door ever so slightly for the driver of the Valvoline Ford to make a late season charge at the championship. Mark desperately needed a win in New Hampshire. Gordon, who started on the Bud pole, was shuffled to 17th after getting caught on the outside groove. On lap 232, contact between Martin and Rich Bickle sent the 98 car into the wall, forcing a caution. Like a replay of Michigan, the leaders pitted with the 24 team taking on just 2 tires. Once again, Gordon emerged with the lead and would hold on to take the checkers. Jeff Gordon's 2nd remarkable 2-tire victory in just 3 weeks was not without controversy. NASCAR sealed off Martin's and Gordon's pits and confiscated several sets of tires for testing.
It just makes me mad. You know, we're doing good, and everybody thinks we're cheating. People are crying about tires and all stuff. They can do whatever, but, you know, I wish this team had stopped getting picked on. You know, people really need to start paying attention to what's going on.
The 24 car is running around there, you know, as a 4th through 10th place car on 4 tires and puts 2 tires on at the end and picks up 7 or 8 tenths. And that's really incredible. I don't know anybody else who can do that.
Well, DuPont's definitely got something you can put in your car to make it go faster, and it's called Jeff Gordon.
Not content with winning the Winston $1 million bonus 2 years in a row, the young superstar was now going for 2 in 1 year. But there were 4 other drivers hungry to cash in. Reminiscent of the '97 Pepsi Southern 500, it was Jeff Burton who took control early. From lap 150 through 273, the 99 car dominated the field. With 27 to go, Gordon finally dispensed with Burton, taking the lead for good.
Here's Jeff Gordon off corner number 4. Looks at the checkered flag, takes the checkered flag, and wins the Noble $5 million. It's his 10th win of 1998, his 4th consecutive in the Southern 500, and his 39th NASCAR Winston Cup career victory in his 180th start. He wins the Noble 5 and a $1 million bonus.
Piling on the accomplishments, Jeff Gordon became the only driver in NASCAR history to win the same super speedway race 4 times in succession.
Hey, one thing for sure, we came here to make a statement, and I think we certainly did that. You know, no 2 tires, no nothing. We just, you know, out-teamed them today, and I hope that everybody recognizes just how awesome this race team is.
Rounding out the top 5, Burton, Jarrett, Earnhardt, and Mayfield were all eligible for the next Noble $5 million at Talladega. Just before the 25th race of the season, NASCAR acquitted the 24 team of any wrongdoing. With Tiregate put to rest, it was back to racing. Once again, Burton and Gordon would take center stage, exchanging the lead 9 times over 153 laps. With 5 to go, the Jeff and Jeff show was at full speed.
Oh, Burton gets the thing loose as he comes off the corner. Gordon got a run on him.
The race to the checkers was electrifying.
Corners, they're coming to the line for the win. It is Jeff Burton winning over Jeff Gordon. What a great race.
Wow. By a hood, Burton grabbed his 5th career victory and 2nd of the season in front of his home state fans.
You know, I need to thank Jeff Gordon, first of all. He drove me real clean, and we worked together all night getting through some traffic. Traffic was really hard, and we took time with each other all night. Now, we beat the 24 out of the pit every single time, and that's huge because we all know how good they are. Big win for us.
As Gordon's grip on the lead grew tighter, Martin's chances grew slimmer. For Dale Jarrett, only a thread of hope remained. In the most dominating flag-to-flag performance of the year, pole sitter Mark Martin smoked the competition at Dover. The impressive performance only gained Martin 10 championship points as Jeff Gordon finished 2nd. The 1998 NASCAR Winston Cup season will be remembered as a year that mixed history and heroes. Certainly, there was no more dramatic display of that than what fans witnessed in the Daytona 500. One of the sport's biggest names finally captured the sport's greatest race. 46-year-old Dale Earnhardt chased victory in the Daytona 500 for 19 years, but never managed to acquire the sport's most prestigious prize. Then on February 15th, 1998, starting from the 4th position, Earnhardt proved he had the car, the crew, and the luck to pick up the one trophy that was still missing from his mantle. It was the 71st win of his career and snapped a 59-race winless streak for the 7-time Winston Cup champion. For the first time, NASCAR paid a race winner more than $1 million. But to Earnhardt, this victory was priceless. The Winston Cup Series headed to Martinsville, where scorching heat turned the 500-mile race into an endurance event. The Napa Auto Care 500 set the stage for the guttiest performance of the year. Just 2 laps into the race, Ricky Rudd's cool suit helmet malfunctioned. Before long, the driver of the Tide Taurus was literally cooking inside his race car.
Rudd to the inside of Irvin is going to take the lead, and Jeff Gordon is going to try to get into 2nd position.
By lap 100, the heat was unbearable.
You better look for somebody to drive this thing. Nothing's working. I got no cool air whatsoever. I pulled my drink hose out, and it's froze up. It won't. I'm dying. If you want a driver, we got Hud Strickland standing here.
Bolstered by ice packs and a winning car, Ricky Rudd drove through the pain.
Take a look at Linda Rudd. She's sitting on this box. She knows. She has listened to her husband all afternoon. Talking about having trouble breathing. Talking about not being able to sit up in the car. A moment ago, she put both hands on her head and tears came down her cheek from beneath her sunglasses. She knows he hasn't said a word now. It is total silence on the radio. She knows every bit of strength he has, he is trying to hang on for these final 15 laps because he wants it that bad. She has got to be so proud of the effort he has put in today.
Zach, think about that hospital bed right this minute. I'll drive my wheels off, get to that bed.
Suffering heat exhaustion, the brave Virginia native held on.
Ricky Rudd has done it for the first time since he won at the Brickyard 400 last year. He comes to victory lane.
Good job, driver. Good job. Help get me out of this thing.
It's been a long time since I had a car run like that. Man, it was a tough thing. I knew I should have handed a car over to somebody. But on the other side, I just felt so good to be up front again. Knew I had a shot at winning. I didn't want to give that win to somebody else.
On a day filled with emotion, Dale Jarrett's championship dream was finally doused by a failing engine, while an overwhelmed and overachieving Rich Bickle scored his first top 5 Winston Cup finish.
So much emotion. This is winning for me. Thanks.
The NASCAR Winston Cup Series returned to the Charlotte Motor Speedway for a grueling 5-hour endurance test that included a 41-minute delay because of track plumbing problems. Mark Martin set the pace for the stock car marathon. The number 6 car would avoid disaster on lap 202 as a devastating multi-car crash collected competitors behind him. After a near-record 11 cautions, the race went green for the final time on lap 278. Martin led, chased by Ward Burton, Little, Hamilton, and Jeff Burton, but no one would catch him.
We outlasted them. You know, we missed the wrecks. You know, we had the good luck. We can't beat those points down, you know, on the racetrack. But we spent a Sunday in the garage here a few weeks back, and if he does that, you know, then the race will be on. And if he doesn't, then we're buried.
The stage was set at Talladega for a final No Bull 5 showdown. A treacherous 500-mile journey on a lightning-fast ribbon of asphalt was all that stood between 5 men and $1 million dream. On lap 136, a multi-car crash erupted. 11 cars were damaged. Mark Martin's title hopes were virtually destroyed. With 3 laps remaining, Dale Jarrett prepared himself for a dogfight.
Get a run on the outside. Meanwhile, Skinner trying to get some help from Bobby Labonte on the inside.
Then 3 wide, Gordon shook off Skinner to grab 3rd, while Bobby Labonte moved into 2nd. With the crowd on its feet, a mad dash for the million.
Can't believe it. Had a bad few weeks, but these guys have stuck together. They worked till you know what's off, and it all paid off today. And that guy running out front, he is so smart when it comes to Daytona and Talladega, and just tickled to death, man, tickled to death.
I want to thank Mike Skinner. He worked with me all day long, and I'd have liked to have done it there at the end with him, but came time to go, and just had to go whenever I could, and just incredible car. The engine was fantastic. Car drove great. Finally get back in victory lane. Been a tough year at times, but we got back here.
Settling for 2nd, Gordon patted his points lead over a disappointed Mark Martin. A 16th or better finish in the final 4 races would ensure Gordon's title. After a 3-month delay, it was the 4th of July in Florida as the Daytona International Speedway lit up the night for the first time. For the 24 team, it was an October to remember. Jeff Gordon would survive 16 lead changes and took the lead for the final time on lap 123. A rainstorm red flagged the race with 5 to go. the 24 car selfishly protected its position and held off a charging Bobby Labonte on the final lap. Jeff Gordon clinched a career-high 11-win season. Gordon's first Winston Cup victory in the 10th month of the year extended his points lead to 358 over Mark Martin.
It is October as far as I'm concerned. And, you know, we really don't see any reason why we shouldn't be winning races in October and November. Yeah, it has come down to a championship battle late in the season, and maybe we've, you know, tried to protect that a little bit too much in the past. But the way it's gone this year, I mean, Mark Martin's winning races. We got to win races. You know, and we're just happy to be able to take advantage of the restrictor plates, restrictor plate races back to back, and had a good race car, good engines, and guys did a great job just turning all those things around. Now we can go to Phoenix, work real hard trying to win another one.
The 31st race of the season ended a 59-race winless streak for Rusty Wallace. With 257 laps completed, the driver of the Miller Lite Ford was first in line when rain put an early end to the Phoenix race. Now, Mark Martin finished second and gained 29 Winston Cup points. But with just 2 races remaining, Jeff Gordon had moved even closer to his 3rd Winston Cup. At the Rock, all Jeff Gordon had to do was finish 40th or better to defend his title. Now, in the past, the 24 team had faltered down the stretch. This year would be different, as Jeff Gordon and the Rainbow Warriors made a statement at Rockingham. Not in the day's dominant car, the 24 was best when it counted. Passing Rusty Wallace with 9 to go, Gordon held off Dale Jarrett to take the checkers.
The way to win a championship right there, boys. Woo! Buddy, you're the best. You're the best. Great job.
The 12th win of the year proved the sweetest as Jeff Gordon clinched his 3rd Winston Cup championship.
You know, I am so proud to be part of this team you can't imagine. You don't get many opportunities to do something like this, and, you know, you just don't have to say anything about it when you do things like this.
It really just is like summing up our whole season into one day, and then to top it off with the championship. You know, incredible day, incredible season.
Hendrick Motorsports became the first team in NASCAR history to win 4 consecutive NASCAR Winston Cup championships. NASCAR's golden season returned to Atlanta for a final farewell.
Jeff Gordon is the champion, but we have a race to run, and the Napa 500 is underway.
And it seemed like the season would never end. It took nearly 11 hours to complete the rain-shortened Napa 500, but when it was over, Jeff Gordon and the Rainbow Warriors were back in victory lane. His 13th win of the season, tying the modern-era record set by Richard Petty back in 1975.
And another mark is established and put in the record books by the young man who has won his 3rd NASCAR Winston Cup championship in 1998. Jeff Gordon wins the Napa 500. It's his 13th victory of the year.
You know, so many good things have happened to us. We've been really, really fortunate. I mean, we have run awful here, John, awful, and now we come here and win.
I tell you what, Ray Evernham and these Rainbow Warriors, not just incredible tonight, but all year long. I mean, man, what an incredible year. I cannot, I know I've said this a million times, but I cannot believe this. You know, they really put a lot of effort into this race car. Each and every one of these guys on this team, my goodness, that thing was incredible.
With Gordon's unbelievable 13th victory, 1998 will forever be remembered as the year of the 24 team. Their stunning young drivers shattered the record books in a performance that can only be described as spectacular.
Man, what a run it's been. And I know that it's going to be tough to have a season every year like this, so we've got to savor the moment, enjoy it while we can, and work hard as we have this year, and I think good things will continue to happen.
NASCAR closes out its first half-century. This memorable, outrageous, and unforgettable 1998 season is now in the rewritten history books. Thanks for joining us for this golden anniversary look at NASCAR's 50th year. And what a year it was. I'm Bill Weber. I'll see you in Daytona.